we're teasing some new features. There's stuff potentially in the future.
To me, it's just a new beginning where we are heavily investing in shipping, and it's very different from what it used to be, and it's going to be extremely different a year from now.
Like, you could really compete with the big boys by implementing this stuff. My friends, if you are in e-commerce, if you have an online store, there is a pain, a problem that unites us all, that we can all agree is a necessary difficulty in our lives. It's shipping, right? We live and die by shipping. We got to get the products to customers. We got to do it quickly, but it also becomes this cost center and a time suck. So how can we smooth out that process? What can we do to make it easier, better, faster, less expensive? Well, and then potentially, we have more profit, more profitable businesses. There is a lot that could be gained if we could just make shipping less painful for ourselves. Well, of course, on the Unofficial Shopify podcast, our solution is going to be Shopify related. And in this case, it comes direct to us from the mothership, Shopify Official. We're going to walk through the options that Shopify gives us for shipping because they have made improvements. Not only, however you thought it worked before, apparently things are improving. So joining us to talk through it, Vibhor Chabra, Director of Product at Shopify. He knows it, he's worked on it, and he's going to talk us through it. Vibhor, thank you for joining me. I appreciate it.
Kurt, thank you for having me on the podcast. I'm really excited and looking forward to talking about shipping.
I am excited about it. I get where people might go, "Oh, shipping's not that exciting," but it is. Like, it's kind of a lifeblood, right? The order, even when people buy something, customers are like at their most attentive to our communications between that moment of I have placed my purchase and I have received my item. It's a thing we got to get right.
Yeah, I think, some of these jobs that we look at, hey, they're not that exciting. But if you think about the purpose and the end of that outcome is a smile on the customer face. And that suddenly makes it like, hey, we got to get it right, because if we get it right, we have a smiling customer, which means the customer is coming back.
Absolutely. So help me agitate the pain. This universal pain. What's frustrating about shipping? Like, what's the thing that we got to solve for with it?
Yeah, it really depends. The pain is actually very different based on where the merchant is in their journey of the store, right? Because if you just started a store on Shopify, all you know right now is, hey, I could go to a retail outlet and ship my package. But you don't know that there is a lot around shipping than just that one thing, right? For example, if you don't have things like address validation, then the package might get delayed because the address that is entered is not recognized by the shipping carrier, right? And now your package is 2 days going to be delivered 2 or 3 days later, and you might actually end up paying the fee for address correction. So we built it into Shopify, so somebody starting their business who doesn't know about this doesn't have to worry about it at all, right? What about showing delivery estimates, right? We know that there is a significantly higher conversion if you show a delivery estimate for the package, right? But when you're starting your business, do you really know this? Claims and insurance. We insure every package on Shopify in the US, so that if something happened, you are covered as a merchant, right? And so is your customer. But on day one, you're not thinking about this. You don't know about this, right? On day one, you're focusing on surviving, on getting to a point where you're thriving, right? And as you go from surviving to thriving and you're scaling your business, you should really be focused on, hey, what is needed to grow this business? And some of the jobs like shipping and payments and taxes, some of these things, like, can Shopify take care of it for me so I don't have to worry about it? I trust the platform, it'll get it done for me. I'm going to focus all of my energy on growing my business, right? And that's where I come from a shipping perspective. We want to make sure that merchants who are starting their business, who don't know what are all the jobs they need to take care of for shipping, to merchants who are thriving and understand the space and have complex workflows, we can solve this problem for everybody and in between.
I like the way you view it. I like the approach. I agree with all of this. And so maybe let's start with the workflow. It starts with collecting the address. We got to know where the heck we're going to send this. And so I love that address validation is built in now. I think it's like settings checkout. It's just a toggle I could turn on, right?
Yeah,
And that person types in their address and then it validates it to like this is a standardized, like USPS format, for example.
exactly. All you need to do is you turn on Shopify shipping. There's a few things we ask of you at that point of time, and based on that, in a couple of minutes, you're ready to start shipping. So the first order comes to ching, and you just go and buy a label, stick it to the box, and ship it. That's it. There is nothing else needs to be done because address validation is there, insurance is there, delivery predictions are there. So we are doing all of that for you. We've added partners globally, um, across the world, and we'll continue to add more partners in the time to come. So it's just, to me, it's just a new beginning where we are heavily investing in shipping, and it's very different from what it used to be even a year or 2 years ago. And it's going to be extremely different a year from now because of the heavy investment we'll continue to make.
I could print my labels within Shopify and I could purchase the labels, getting essentially a huge volume discount, like a negotiated discount that
Yes.
I would not normally get if, as a small merchant, I tried to negotiate this rate myself. Or, if, heaven forbid, I went to like a local shop and had them ship my package for me. I'm going to get the cheapest rate without having to actually go and like set up my own carrier account.
Exactly. So it just works. Shopify has the account, and we do everything behind the scenes, so you don't have to do any of that. However, as merchants grow and become larger, it's absolutely possible that they will go work with a shipping partner and get a negotiated rate for themselves. And we encourage that as well. If you want to get your own rates and use your own rates with partners, that's great. We will let you use your account, so you don't have to buy labels from Shopify negotiated rates. You can buy label directly from the partner, but you can do that within Shopify as well. So you have the choice. You want to bring your own rates, or you can use our negotiated rates.
So of our carrier integrations, what's available to me?
So if you're a US merchant shipping domestically, you have UPS, USPS, FedEx, DHL. Also, as the world around us changes and policies change with trade and regulations and tariffs, we're also adding options for our US and worldwide merchants so that they can ship and don't have to deal with tariffs on their own. So, as an example, when you're dealing with tariffs, there are two kinds of labels you can purchase. One is what we called delivered duties paid. So there, as a buyer, I can see the final price I will pay for the shipment at the time of checkout as itself. So I'll see the taxes and duties for that order, right? So that's DDP, or delivered duties paid. We also have DDU, delivered duties unpaid, where the buyer won't see what the duty is, but they get the final bill when the package is delivered. So we have both options we've recently added on our platform for merchants so that as policy changes happen, they don't have to figure out how do we deal with policy changes? What might be the duties I have to collect today versus tomorrow? We do that automatically for them. So both domestic, cross-border, and then global international partners, all three actually.
That's really that's slick. Getting years ago trying to get DDP labels to work at Shopify, um, it was possible but more difficult. And this new system sounds considerably easier, right? I think I would just have to make sure I have country of origin and harmonized system HS code set on a product. I think that's it. Or like, what are
That's
the
it. We
requirements? What I
also
need to get it to work?
we also help with HS codes. So, yeah, you are ultimately responsible for the HS code, but we do help with that. It's really activating the right carrier. So, going to shipping, activating Shopify shipping, selecting which carriers you want to use, and boom, it's done.
You mentioned that it handles shipping insurance as well.
Yes.
We know the value. I'm guessing here. We know the value of the order, and so we're able to then purchase insurance accurately or make that an option? How does it work?
Yeah, so we cap shipping insurance at $200, which is, we looked at what makes most sense for most of the merchants and most of the orders, and that made a lot of sense for us, for our merchants. So we cap shipping insurance at $200, but you don't have to pay for it. It just is automatically taken care of. So we cover the cost there. Some of our merchants are not even aware that we're doing that. And the first time they learn about it is when they run into a problem and hey, the package was lost. The buyer didn't receive the package. And then they're now I have to eat the cost. And they'll reach out to us and no, like there is shipping insurance. And the moment of delight for the merchant is so satisfying to see, like, oh, I didn't even know, or I didn't even think about this, but I'm glad you covered it.
That's great. Yeah, when you have a unexpected problem and then turns out there's an unexpected solution that's already handled it for you, that must be quite the relief. If I am lucky enough to have this problem of shipping so much stuff that it's very time consuming, is there any, you know, automation, batching, anything Shopify does to make the process smoother, faster?
Yes. So it's one of my favorite topics here. So we're actually doing we're doing many things, but I'll say largely we're doing two things. A few years ago, Shopify shipping was great if you had a few packages you were shipping every day. We are going in the direction of how do we make Shopify shipping amazing for merchants who are shipping hundreds of packages every day. So we introduced a capability called bulk label purchasing about a year and a half ago. And what that does is, if you are a merchant who say shipping 250 boxes every day, up to 250 orders every day, instead of going one by one and printing a label, you can actually print all up to 250 labels in one go. We also have pick lists because often merchants will print pick lists with their orders to say, okay, cool, like where am I going to pick this order from? We've introduced these capabilities, some of them recently, some of them a little back. But the key thing is we're continuing to work on a lot more in this space that I can't talk about. But this is an area of focus. Merchants who have complex workflows, who want to do a lot more, we have our eye on that problem as well.
We're teasing some new features. There's stuff potentially in the future.
Hey, the second thing I was going with, how do we help merchants who have super complex needs, right? Is there is a point of time where Shopify shipping may not be the right product for your needs because instead of managing shipping on your own, you actually want to go work with the 3PL and source your logistics to them. And you might have heard of SFN or Shopify Fulfillment Network. So the process of going from I've never looked at a 3PL, I don't understand how do I price a 3PL, how do I compare different 3PLs. We want to make that transition very easy for you if you're interested in making that transition. So Shopify Fulfillment Network has now 8 partners, and that will also grow. We will add more partners to cover various geographies, global merchants who have global needs, different product categories.
And so these new partners for Shopify Fulfillment Network for SFN,
Yes.
this includes Amazon, doesn't it?
It does include Amazon, yes.
I can't picture it. So I contact SFN and then they help with my integration, or I already have my stuff mailed to Amazon and then SFN sets up the integration.
It could be both ways. It could be that
Oh,
you're using Amazon multi-channel fulfillment already, and you're on Shopify already, and you're using them. So you can just connect via Shopify Fulfillment Network, and your experience will be better because now instead of doing many clicks on 2 different places, some of your data will start appearing in Shopify. So, for example, if you're looking at a single order, say a customer emailed you and said, hey, my order has not been delivered, what's going on? So you go to Shopify, you get the order number, you see it was shipped through Amazon multi-channel fulfillment, MCF, but then you don't know what the status of the order is. So now you open the Amazon MCF portal and get that information there. Versus here, for any of our partners, you just go to the orders page, and at the bottom of the page, we'll show you the status of the order. When was it delivered? Is it delayed, etc. So fewer clicks. Again, we don't want to build what Amazon or other partners have built into Shopify. That's not the goal, but we want the merchant workflows to be simpler and easier.
I want to pick your brain on order tracking because I think, one of the most common questions you'll get, what if you have a business that is doing shipping volume is, hey, where's my order? Right? You hear that a lot in your customer support tickets. Are there solutions for simplifying that? I want to
Well,
get fewer "Where's my order" tickets.
I am glad you asked. So it's actually a very cool experience that we have for tracking. So if you are buying a label from Shopify shipping, we provide tracking on every label that's purchased from Shopify shipping. And the experience is pretty neat. Have you used the Shop app? I hope you have.
Yes,
So the whole experience is the merchant buys a label from Shopify, and in the merchant admin, we start displaying the tracking information. So the merchant can keep in the admin where they're looking at order status, etc. They have the latest tracking information. But and for the buyer, if they have the Shop app installed on their phone, they will get notifications about the order. So they don't have to worry about tracking. We will provide that information to them via Shop app. So the merchant doesn't have to worry about it. The buyer doesn't have to worry about it. It just works out of the box.
I love that Shop app. I think that is one of the most slept on features that if you haven't explored Shop, you have not set up your Shop page, gotten everything looking right, synced your reviews. Like there's just so much opportunity that it provides, right? Like in our client stores, we always set up Shop and we always make sure that on the thank you page, it offers like, hey, you can track your order with Shop because not only does it give it like a clean, easy place to live, but now it has push notifications. It's like,
Exactly.
hey, your order's out for delivery.
Yeah. So exactly, if you really care about like, hey, if this is one of those orders where like I'm actually counting minutes when this order is coming, it is there, right? And we're continuously making that capability better as well. So there's more to come there.
I want to know what's our action step? What's our next step? For someone listening, because hey, he's right. I should check this out. I should know more. I should get a handle on my shipping workflow. What should they do?
Go to Shopify.com, log into the admin, you go to shipping. It's pretty simple. If you're not a Shopify shipping merchant today, all you need to do is go to settings, activate shipping, select the carriers that you use. So if you're a US based merchant, you might have some carriers. If you're in a different part of the world, you have different carriers, but you can select the carriers that you want to activate. And that's it. Like, not much more needs to be done. We'll start giving you labels to make this process better. You can even select update your product weight in the packaging dimensions because we can give you more accurate recommendations on what kind of label you should buy, right? For this weight, for this package. Um, and that's it. Like, try it out. I'm confident you'll love it. And if you have feedback for us, reach out to us. My email address is vibor.chabra@shopify.com. So like this is an open offer. Like if you have feedback, if something is missing, if it's not working like you expected to, just drop a note because ultimately we're building for merchants. So if there's feedback, we're all ears to hear how we can improve this further.
Well, that's incredible and very generous of you to share that, make that offer. And I think ultimately the mindset shift here is stop viewing shipping as this cost center and start viewing it as a potential competitive advantage, right? That whole experience can be improved, using a lot of these native features, right? That's what I'm taking away from this. Like you could really compete with the big boys by implementing this stuff. And there's also there's more info, shopify.com/shipping. Of course, I'll link to that in the show notes. Vibor, I'm so thrilled that there is someone at Shopify that gets this excited about shipping. Truly, right? Because it's just, it, a thing we all have to solve for. And the amount of, like, just in what you've described to us, the amount of headache, frustration, and time that this could save, really quite incredible when you imagine it, like, adding up over time across all these stores and orders. That's great. Vibor Chabra, Director of Product at Shopify, thank you so much for joining us. And everybody else, check out your Shopify shipping settings or check out shopify.com/shipping.
Yeah. Thank you, Kurt, for having me on your podcast. And thank you to your audience as well.
Oh, my pleasure.